And we're live. Thank you for coming to another live session today. And our topic is, what if we all use solar power? For those persons in the chat and those of you who have not given your thumbs up, please share a thumbs up. It's free. Thank you for coming. I see the numbers are increasing. I understand that the ads may be taking out some persons before. However, hang in there. And I'd like to, for those who are here, just say hi in the chat so that we can acknowledge you. All right, now the topic is, what if we all went, or what if we all use solar power? I'm wondering though if that is any at all possible using solar power. Um, it probably would be, and it would be a lovely thing if all of us went solar. I know there are some effects if persons went solar in my country. I'm not sure what other countries, how it would affect other countries. For one, I know that if we all decide to use solar power, then for us in my country, the world would be a better place. We would, or for those who decide to use the power company as a generator. And if you don't understand what I mean as a generator, I can explain. Now, for those of us who decide to use the power company as a generator, the power company will probably be begging you to use them some more. And for that, probably we will be able to decide our rates. And not only to decide our rates either, because I don't think they will ever go out of business, because you will have other things or other services that they could provide. So take, for instance, you have the persons who are grid tied. They would really need the use of electricity, especially at nights. Um, if hi Storm Chaser, if Jerwin, thank you. Or your Future X. Thank you for coming, Future X. Right. So for those of us who decide that we're going to go the solar route, it depends on which route you decide to go. There is a thing that is called electricity death spiral, and this electricity, hi Motorola King, this electricity death spiral is really there because some persons decide to jump off the grid and go totally solar. So what is happening is that, especially in my country, there is a guaranteed profits that are I don't want to say designated, but this guaranteed profit is promised to the power company. And what you find happening is, if they set out to make, say, $10 for the year, and they had 10 customers, and for that, those 10 customers, 5 of them decide to come off the grid. What happens is, because this $10 is guaranteed, it means that instead of each person paying $1, each person would probably have to pay $2 to make up for that $10. Would have to pay for the persons who decide that they are coming off the grid. Now, in all honesty, that guaranteed profit, it needs to stop. And having everybody come off the grid, I honestly don't see that 100% possible, because there are some persons who just mark off this solar system or the solar panel system and say it's too expensive and they are not going that route. So there'll be some persons who won't go solar any at all. It will be good because there's a lot of benefits if most of us go solar, or if all of us go solar. One of them is the reliance on fossil fuel will be saving the environment. Remember, the sun is free. Did I shout out to Motorola King? All right. Remember, the sun is free, and because the sun is free, it is available for us to use. And it is strange because look at it. I've seen persons who live in countries that doesn't get the sun as much as the country that I live in. And they are thinking of going solar. Where is that um sun's ray that is going to assist them? They are trying to go solar very aggressively. And we have the sun here and we're not making use of it. If you were to really think about it, we were really born with the, how must I put it now? We're really born with this feeling that some things are to be free, especially water, because it's the rainfall, um, the sunshine, because it's in our heads, it's always there. Even in the like now in the coming on to winter, we don't have much sun, especially, well, we do have the sun, but it's rather periodic because of the going down into the time when we now have longer nights and shorter days. So what you find happening is, especially for me and my panels, I honestly have to wait until the sun comes up to perform certain tasks. It really doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, but I get it done. And you can too. It depends on the system that you want or the system that you can afford. Um, so again, I'm going to ask each of you the question: what do you think really would happen if we all go solar? What will really happen to me in the first instant is we're just doing what is ordained. We're just using up what was given to us. We're just utilizing what this earth is capable of producing, or the world is capable of producing, or we're just utilizing what God has given us. That's really what we're doing. Because think of it, the food that we eat was placed on this earth for us. However, there are things that you have to do in order to eat this food or to get this food. You'll have to plant it, you'll have to water it, um, you'll have to plant it, you'll have to water it, you'll have to make sure that you relieve it from all those pests. Because remember, this thing is a cycle, and so too is the way how we should be using the sun. It's really a cycle. Some chaser is saying would they they would decrease the bill. Um, if you think about it, Storm, would you get a bill? Remember, we're all going solar. Would you get a bill? I I honestly, the only way I see myself probably getting a bill is if I would still be holding on a tad bit to the power company. So I would have the power company like a generator, like I tell you. And for those of you who don't understand what I mean, using them like a generator, it's really a backup. So take for instance, you have your radio, and you have a radio that can either use batteries or use electricity. Now, if you decide, or if it so happens that you got ton loads of batteries, and you really don't want them to go down without using them, and you are someone who uses quite your radio quite often, then it would be best for you to use the batteries in the radio. When you use a battery in the radio, you really don't need the power company. However, how you would need the power company now is if all those ton load of batteries that you got, they were all finished, all gone, and you really want to listen to your radio, just plug it in. And that's what I mean. They are the power company is there just in case. And we can have just in case situation. Storm Chaser is saying they will try to convince and lower the bill. Hi, Yon Claretta, thank you for coming. Yes, Storm, I think that they will try and convince you to come on to come some more. Good morning. It's actually good night in my area. And thank you for coming. Right. So Storm, I think what they would do is honestly try to convince you, make it more attractive. And they can. If you really sit and think about it, they can. Because all right, take for instance no dependent on what solar power system that you decide to take. Say you decide to take one that has that you're going to be totally off grid. And please, for those in the chat, if you don't understand the terms that I'm saying, if you ask, I'll explain it to you totally. Because you have some persons who really want to go solar. However, they know what it is that they want it to do, but they don't know the system that they want. And then some of the times, the system at times determines the cost. The system determines the cost. All right, let's come back to Storm's statement. They would try to convince us. Yes, I think they would try to convince us. And one of the ways that they can do this is these systems that we're getting dependent on the ones that we should take. They do need maintenance. They do need some of them you have to be buying things periodically to make sure that your system is running. And probably the word should not have been periodically. You may be required to buy things in a couple of years. Hi, coach. Thank you for joining the live. Remember to leave your thumbs up, guys, for those who are coming in. Yes, so you really would have to buy things. So what it is that they would try and convince you to do is to put it in your way for you to see that, hey, it may be cheaper if you stay with us, because your bill would probably be X amount, and that X amount that they are going to give you would be so low that you consider it as an option to go back to them. Because especially now, for those persons who want to be totally off grid, the cost of the batteries can be a tidy sum. The last time I saw a battery, one battery, the cost of the battery was somewhere in the I think it was 240 something thousand for the one battery. And if you should divide that, say, let me see. If you should divide that, say you buy, and I'm not even thinking of you buying multiple, because majority of the times some of the solar the solar systems that we're getting, you'll see where it requires probably 8 batteries. I'm not even going to calculate anything for 8 batteries. I'm thinking of one. And if one battery costs, say, $240,000, I'm not going the little cent, and these batteries doesn't attract GCT. So if we got one battery for 240,000, and it's expected to last us for, say, um, about 5 years. So let's divide that by the five, right? So that would end up being $48,000 you'd have to put aside every year for one battery. It means that you'll have to save, I'm carrying it down now to the month. It means that in order to just get one battery, you'll have to save something in the region of $4,000 a month. And that's for one battery. And just imagine the persons who have 8 batteries. Now, for those 8 batteries, if you're to replace them every 5 years, we're looking on $4,000 times 8. Every month you'll have to try and save $32,000 just to save enough so that in the next 5 years you can get back 8 batteries. And that is dependent on you, who you may say to yourself that you're really hoping that the batteries don't go down um, in the 5 years or before the 5 years, because let me explain something to you. It is said, I soon go to your statement, Motorola King and Storm Chaser. It is said that the ideal solar panel system that is off grid really should only use 50% of your battery. So if you have 8 batteries, each time you're using, you should really only use 50% of your batteries. And that is beneficial for you to get a longer life out of your battery. And it may also mean that you really don't totally drain your battery in order to bring it back up, because there are things that can prevent your batteries from coming back up. You may have a cell in there that's bad, as well as you may not get the required amount of sunlight that you need in order for the panels to charge those batteries. So we have to be careful as to what solar panel system that we take. We have the solar power system that we take. We have to really sit and think about it. um, and that is why majority of the times it is said that you are to really conserve before you decide to go solar. Just conserve. You'll find that conserving first and then going solar, you have the capability of having your system being cheaper, because you know require less. Motorola King is saying yes, they would, and he was speaking of um, the fact that they would try and convince us. Yes, they would, because they don't want to lose any money. Yes, they don't want to lose any money, Motorola King. But when you really sit and think about it, if we should all go solar, they're going to try and convince some of us to come back. And especially with the cost that is associated, no, the after cost that is associated with getting um, getting certain system. It's easy convincing, easy if they make the packages convincing enough and affordable enough, then some of us will just go back. And to tell you the truth, to Motorola King, um, I think it is good sometimes. Sometimes you have some persons who are comfortable with what they are doing. So they're abusing you, they are stepping on your toe, and they are comfortable doing that. And the minute you get a steel toe shoe and they step on that and see you don't fringe, they say, wait, what's happening? And they now decide to wheel and come again. So sometimes I think the threat of the fact that we can go solar should really make them buckle up. I think it should, because they do need some shake up. The bills are too expensive. Storm Chaser is saying expensive smart. Yes, yes, Storm. It's actually expensive if we're not careful. Um, and that is why it's best when you decide to go solar, to choose wisely. Choose the system that you're going to get. Choose that wisely, because you know what it is, what it feels like. I've seen it happen where some persons buy the system. I've even known someone personally who they went out and they got the entire house on solar. They were not using any. They had the power company as a backup, and because of the cost of the batteries, everything went down after a while. And when it went down, um, they had to switch over to the power company. Um, we have to be careful of that too, because we don't want them, like we don't use them for a couple of years, that they are going to now tell us, oh, you need to rewire your home because you didn't have this form of electricity running through it. You don't want to be like that. So I know that there are plans in place, or I've heard that there are plans in place that everybody with the solar power, be it off grid, grid tied, or the hybrid, they are planning to, or they would require you to register. And register meaning that they're aware of it, so that they can inform the power company that, hey, um, host number 3678 has solar power. So it means that they will not be 100% using your system. Um, Storm Chaser is asking you guys to please ask your question. Storm Chaser is saying they are supposed to laugh um, when you go back to them. Storm, just imagine when you come back, you see, it's just like when we had um, our telephone company. There were some persons who we had a particular company and we were with them. They were abusing us. We had to pay to just make a call, even like how I'm speaking to persons now, and some persons may be far away from where I am. However, I have now the ability of speaking with persons in any country. With this web, those things were not possible. And because of that, just to make a call, you had to pay for it. If you were to receive a call, your pocket would still come out of your pocket where you had to pay for it. Now, look at what is happening. We're able to now call anyone, anywhere, once we have certain things on our phone, once we have some app. So we can call anyone anywhere. And we don't want to go back to the time when we can't have that access where we can call anyone at any time. The other day we had an earthquake and persons from overseas were calling, "Are you okay?" They wanted to know if you're okay, and it was easy. They probably didn't even think of it. They just take up the phone and call you immediately. "Are you okay?" Now, yes, Storm, if you had, think of it, if you had, say you were selling shoes and you were selling shoes for $10,000, right? $10,000 a pair for your shoes. And another supplier comes in and say, "Hey, you can make your own shoes." And the persons now stop buying your shoes and start making their own. However, finding that they can now make their own shoes, it's not going to take up some of their time. And then you may have the set of persons who say, "I can't bother to make this shoe, So here what? I'm going back to buy the original shoes that I was used to." Don't you think, as a shoe supplier, you would be laughing to say, "Look at that. They tried it and it can't work." So, right, you would laugh, Storm. So the best thing to do whenever you're planning to go solar, think about it, write down what it is that you need, because majority of the times we don't know, or we, while we do know what we need, when we are quoted, that is not what we need. That's not what we need. What we really need was not given to us. It was not given to us. It may not be given to us based on the fact that we may not have the money to get what we need. So you have to think about the different solar power system that is out there, to see if you can latch on to one of them. That is what you need. I'm sure if I ask the question now, who here would really love to to use the free electricity that is provided from the sun without paying a bill? I'm sure there's everyone, all of my subscribers and all my viewers would say me. I would say me too. And the reason why I would go that route, it's rather, especially now, it's rather hard paying these bills month after month after month. And then these suppliers for these utilities, they don't give us any chance. You're late, you pay an extra fee. And if you really think about it, we did not have that extra fee to begin with. No, you're late, you have to pay that extra fee. So I know if I asked, who here would like to use light and water and not pay a cent, I would have majority of the persons, actually all of the persons, saying me. However, you're thinking about you going that solar route, think about what you need. And another thing that I'm always preaching, and I'll never stop preaching it to you, you need to make sure that you conserve, because some of the time, whatever it is that you need, you incorporated waste in that. So you need a system that will run the entire house. However, you have the microwave plugged in. You see the waste? So you're going to get a system that will now encourage that waste. That's not what you need. That's a want. And some of the times, our need, our need should really encourage us to save on that bill. Sometimes it's a want that is causing us to pay that high light bill or that high water bill. I've been telling persons over and over again, we have more light bulbs in our homes than faucets. So even on the side of that water bill, some of us should not be paying so much. There are things that you can do to lessen that effect. There are things. So if we all went solar, that's one of the plus. They'll be begging us. Another thing too, if we all went solar, we are saving the environment. I told you that one as well. That just you're really saving the environment. And another thing too, if we all went solar, if we all went solar too, think of it. The reliance that you had when you know that you're providing or you're using up these batteries. For those of us who can't afford it, is it that time that you're going to conserve? Or is it that time that you're going to say, hey, I'm using batteries, so I can do anything that I want to do? Sometimes that happens. Hi, PH to KLTV. Thank you for coming. Motorola King is saying, it's going to be hard for some people. Yes, PH the KL says 18 likes and ads. Thank you very much. Motorola King saying it's going to be hard on some persons. Yes, it will be hard, Motorola King, on some persons. However, it's dependent on what was chosen. And that is why I was saying in the first place, we need to make sure that whatever it is that we are getting is what we need. It doesn't make any sense. You get something and you really don't need it. Doesn't make any sense. So you need to make sure that whatever system you're getting, it's one that you really need and one that you will use. I'm not talking about waste now. I'm talking about even with your conservation methods in place, that's the system that you need. Right? Yeah, we you have some persons who are adamant that they will never go solar, and some of who I know that say that they won't go solar, they do so because they have a conservation thing going. So while they will not go 100% solar, they have little things that they use that is also solar powered. So I know someone who, while she isn't solar, she uses one of the solar generators. So she isn't 100% solar, but partially. So she has some conservation methods going on. So it depends. It really depends. And for the guys who are coming in, you can ask your questions, please. If you have the question, if it once it's solar related, go ahead, ask. Even if it should take us off the topic of if everyone should go solar, then what would happen? Go ahead and ask. Yan says she's listening. Storm Chaser is saying, yes, I hear people say they rather off grid because they don't know nothing about the battery. Um, I'm fine, PH. Storm, persons who I've spoken to, the reason why they want to go off grid is because and they're not thinking about the battery. I agree with you. However, they decide that they want to go off grid because they want to get rid of the power company. So that's a reason why um most persons think of off grid. I too think of going off grid. And my reason for going off grid was to just get rid of the power company. In all honesty, I I was told that the batteries that you get would really last you, I think it was 10 to 15 years. I think that's what I was told. So when I actually worked it out, because at the time at the time I was getting batteries for like $80,000. See, Storm Chaser is saying they don't know how long the batteries will last. And if you really think about it, Storm, is it fair to tell us that the batteries will last 5 years or 3 years or even a year? It's not fair. Now let me explain to you. Even without those batteries, they're really built to, according to the manufacturers, it's really built that they expected it to last X amount of years. But think of even your car batteries, the little pen light batteries that you buy. They tell you that it will last you X number of days or X number of years. When you buy the car batteries for your cars, don't they tell you that it's supposed to last 2 years? Don't it? They tell you that it's supposed to last 2 years. See, it's supposed to last 2 years. How many of us get 2 years out of our car batteries? We don't. We don't. And that is why sometimes it's beneficial for you to buy it from a place that, look here, if I don't get the 2 years out of it, they are going to give you a rebate on the next one. And why do you think they give you the rebate on the next one? They give you the rebate on the next battery that you buy for your car because they know that technically it really don't write the warranty. They give you the warranty for the rebate for the rate to offset the cost on the other battery that you're going to buy. Hi, cousin, thank you for coming to the live. And the reason why they give you that rebate, you know why they give you? Because they know that the battery is not going to last you that long. They know. And that is why have you ever heard a supplier selling you a solar power system that is off grid that uses the batteries? Have you ever heard them telling you, oh, the batteries will last you X number of years? And if it doesn't last you, then we're going to give you a rebate? Who out there can tell me if there's a supplier out there that will give you rebate on those batteries? They can't. And you know why they can't? Think about it. Right. Storm is saying no. Think about it. You have two persons. One have a flashlight, one have a radio. And both the flashlight and the radio uses two pen light batteries. Think about it now. Two pen light batteries, both flashlight and radio uses. The man who uses the flashlight really only use it when he wants to look, get light for a dark area, or he has lost light or power has cut at his home, so he needs the flashlight to give him this form of light or illumination. The man who has the pen light battery operating his radio is listening to his radio every day. He's going to work, he has that little radio to his ears. As a matter of fact, he may even have an earplug connected to that radio. Remember, the manufacturer now would say to us, oh, those pen light batteries really should last 5 years. The man who uses his flashlight in emergency circumstances may get 5 years out of it. However, the man who is using his transistor radio constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, will not get 2 years out of that battery. As a matter of fact, he may only get months. Now, the reason why these things happen is because usage. And it goes back again to even the car batteries. And as a matter of fact, if you think about even the usage, the man who is running a taxi, where he has everything pulling from that battery, he has his radios pulling power from that battery. He's constantly on the road driving. Everything is that he has in his vehicle that is pulling from that battery is creating that battery to be heavily used. While the man who just drives his car to work, it parks, then he drives again to go home. Periodically, every now and then, he may listen to the radio. Sometimes he doesn't listen to the radio for weeks. His car battery will last him a little longer. And even with that, we can't get 2 years out of the car batteries. So usage of the batteries will be dependent on you. It will be dependent on you. Storm Chaser is saying, smart, to what I'm seeing, no one can determine how long the battery. No, you can't. Let me finish read out his statement. Storm is saying, smart, to what I'm seeing, no one can determine how long the battery will last. No one can determine that. And that is why the suppliers for the batteries for the solar power system can't give you rebate if it doesn't reach the required number of years. Can't. The car ones have this thing where they say you get the rebate if your odometer reading, like it would say 30, I think it's 30,000 kilometers, you get 2 years, and 24,000 kilometers, you will get I think it's 18 months out of the car batteries. That's what they say. So if within the 18 months your batteries don't, your car battery should go down, and you don't reach that 24,000 kilometers, then they'll give you the rebate. And it's whichever you reach first. So if your battery, if you use 24,000 kilometers before the 18 months and that battery should go down, then you won't get that rebate. So there's a clause to it. However, majority of the times, especially for us private users, we really don't fulfill that kilometer requirement. So what you find that happens is we don't fulfill it, and we're able to get the rebate. because the battery don't reach the required amount of months. And especially for the private users. I'm not sure what especially with the taxi men, if they reach it, not sure. But you find that even with the taxi men, they tend to shop around for the cheaper batteries. And you can't blame them because these batteries are not lasting. They're not. So back again, we can all go solar using solar power. All of us, if we sit and think about what it is that we need. What is it that we need? There are things that probably will be a requirement when we sitting and thinking about what we need. And like I say, write it down. Write it down. You don't want to miss anything. What is it that you want it for? Because I've heard of instances, or I've seen instances where this person, he has placed his information on the internet, where he has a small little system going, just a small little system. And with that small little system that he has going, he has how must put it now? He has things that he's doing. Hi, True Life. Thank you for coming to the live. And True Life is saying hi, everyone. He has a small system going. Cousins is saying it's very hot here. Really? We're not in the time. Well, we're out of summer. Is it summer there in Brazil for you, cousins? Right. So we can decide which system it is that we want, but we need to write it down. We have to, because some of the time there are some things that there are 1 minute cousins. Some of the time there are some things that we can do without. Some of the times you just need to check it. Thank you, True Life. It's nice to see you again too. Yes, cousins, I do believe in global warming. It does exist. However, I wanted to know if you had summer. Is it summer in Brazil? Right. So we have to decide what it is that we actually need and write it down. Because some of the things that we have on the need list, we can probably move it over to wants. Because I had quite a requirement when I wanted to go solar. One of my requirements was, and it was for me the biggest one. Yes, it's summer. I see why you're hot. I see why you're hot. Never mind. When will summer end? Because we came out of summer. I think when you had winter, we had summer. Right. One of my requirements of going solar was I wanted not to be I wanted to be independent from my power providers. I wanted to get rid of them totally. That was my sole reason for going solar. And in my head, if I had that as my sole reason, then I would eliminate my a bill. I would also eliminate um, how I use it. So I wasn't thinking of conservation at the time when I wanted to go 100% solar. I wasn't thinking of conservation. I just wanted to have what I have and use it same way, not thinking that I needed to conserve. So I wanted to use all of that to my own advantage or to my probably detriment, because what would probably happen is I would get a huge system. And especially now, I know my batteries would be totally drained to the time when I wanted to go solar. So we really have to sit and think about it. And when I look on whatever it is that I needed, then especially the one that I wanted to be 100% independent, where I'm not depending on any power provider, I had to shift that over to the one side. And shifting it over to the one side opened up quite a number of things. Because when I had it over the need side, I wasn't thinking of batteries. I wasn't thinking of it. Batteries were the furthest thing from my mind because I was told that the batteries would last me 10 to 15 years. And at the time, batteries were like about $80,000. And I think I was quoted 8 batteries. So I was looking on it to say, hmm, 8 batteries. Is that a eight? Is eight? I think no, it was six. Right. It was 6 batteries. Six? I think it was 6 batteries. But to how I worked out that cost for the 6 batteries, I was thinking of probably saving just a little bit of money every month in order to be able to buy back some batteries. And then when I was looking on it, I was saying if I put aside the amount of money that I was paying for electricity each month, then easily I could buy back some batteries and still had a saving. I was not looking on it to say that these battery prices were not going to remain static. And now that you can see that the battery prices are not remaining static, and the last cost of the batteries that I saw were $240,000. And just imagine you need 8 of those. What are we getting into? So there would be other options. And yes, I was introduced to another option. Did I regret it? No, because the minute I was introduced to another option, I sat and I penciled it out. Hey, how am I going to do this thing? If I should get the system that is grid tied, what does it mean for me? Then you may have to put in the pros and the cons. The cons for me were one, I'm not at home in the days except on Saturdays and Sundays. And then Saturdays, you have to be up and down to try to get if not groceries or um you had to do other things on the road. So you were hardly at home. The the only full day you may have would be one day when you're just at home, either relaxing or whatever, would be on one day out of that weekend. However, for the Saturday, then you had to wash. For those of you who washed, I never used to wash on a Saturday. I used to wash on a Friday night. Now, when I was introduced now to the the grid tied system, I had to sit before even deciding that I was going to take it. I had to sit and think, what is it that I do at nights that can be eliminated and I can divert that to the day? Washing was one of them. Because I already had the timer, my refrigerator was not operating in the nights. So, what is it that I'm going to do at nights that cannot be done in the day? I may be just relaxing, probably watching the television set, watching a movie, going on the computer. So these are the things that you really have to think about. Sit down and work out the pros and the cons. Storm Chaser is saying true. Sit and work it out. Work out the pros and the cons for all three available systems that's out there. True Life is saying you are all welcome. Sit and work out the pros and the cons for all three systems that are out there. Storm Chaser is saying 2 million for 8 batteries. See that, Storm? $2 million. Easily. Easily. And that is why sometimes when the suppliers quote us and they give us a quote for probably say a system that is going to cost you 3 point something $1 million, you dress back and you say, hey, I can't afford that. Majority of the times though, the system that is off grid, if you should look on the quotation, the battery makes up the greater cost. I don't think they are quoting persons now, Storm, on 8 batteries. The ones that I've seen, they are now quoting 4. So they cut that. So the 4 batteries, you're going into $1 million. So they find that they can quote you a 2 point something $1 million system. If you want, you can constantly add batteries to it. But remember, $240,000 is not something that someone will easily grab to say, hey, I want a battery. It's not pen light batteries. So the cost may add up. Motorola King is saying, hey, Smart, it's not normal. Trust me, it's not normal. We have to sit and think about it. Sit and think about the type of system that you want. For those of you who are out there and listening, if you're thinking of going solar, then you can speak to me and we can brainstorm together. I can't tell you which system to take. I can't. And the reason why I can't is because I don't know your situation. I don't know your circumstances. But we can brainstorm together. We can sit and look at what is available, the 3 systems that's available. We can sit and think of the pros and the cons. My biggest con with the system that I have was, what if light gone? Me lose light too? Yes. I had to brace myself for that one. And the reason why I had to brace myself for that one is, even though I was going grid tied, there was something at the back of my mind saying I still wanted to be 100% independent from the power providers. So you have to sit and think about it and work out the different costs that's out there. Work it out. It's not hard. Because like I tell you, the batteries alone, Storm Chaser work them out. It's $2 million for 8 batteries. Remember, actually, the more batteries you have, the better it is. The better it is. It will last you longer. So if 2 batteries could run your home and you have those 2 batteries lasting you a day, just constantly adding 2, it would mean that you'd probably get a week or give or take a day out of adding more batteries. So sit and think about it. And remember, it would be good if if all of us could use solar power. I want to thank you again for coming to the live. It's rather informative. It would have been good if you would have given your input. However, it's not late. At the end of it, you can probably place your comment or your questions in the comment section below. And another thing I would like to take for those of us who are on TikTok, Storm Chaser, Motorola King, if you're on TikTok, we're now on TikTok. And for all the guys who want to join, you can join. In the next couple of, I wouldn't say couple of weeks, probably a week or two, we'll be streaming from both sides. And especially the TikTok platform, you can come in and speak. Because probably some of you really don't want, probably some of us really don't want to be typing. You can probably come in, just join, open your mic, even your cameras if you're able to, and speak. Let us speak about this solar journey. If you haven't started your solar journey yet, it's not late. Because remember, the aim is to have them giving us offers to come back to use more electricity. So I'd like to thank you all. Um, Cousins is saying you know so much about this. It's a matter of research, cousin. Sometimes I research a lot. I have a lot of things in my head that can come out. Some of them have to come out in vlogs, and some of them has to be done on a live stream. The live stream really is to get your participation because there are burning issues and burning questions about this solar journey. So you can come on the live and participate, and trust me, it's really informative when you do so. So once again, I'd like to thank you for coming. And I'd like to say to all those out there, wherever you are, I'd like to say good afternoon, good evening, good night, or even good morning. Thank you very much for coming, and take care.